Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. As you guys could probably see, I have not posted a video in a few weeks. And I actually have a really good reason, I promise. I got COVID, and it was not great. And for the record, I am vaccinated and double boosted. So I did my part in that. But that being said, the week I got sick, I went to 2 separate concerts, so it's possible I got it at one of those concerts because I didn't become sick until I went to a concert on Monday and a concert on Wednesday, and then I started feeling sick like late Friday-ish. Not terrible, but just like a little like, oh, I'm feeling a little my throat's a little And then by Saturday, like by the end of Saturday, not necessarily the beginning, like the day itself I was fatigued, but I didn't feel like awful. But by the end of Saturday, like, oh my God, I was like ready to be comatose. And then on top of it, then Sunday and all the subsequent days after until Tuesday, really, I had a fever. And it was a mild fever, so it was a fever of like 100 degrees, but it was brutal. I'm not gonna lie, like COVID sucks. Dude, I made it through the entire fucking pandemic without getting COVID. And here we are. I now got it. I'm since recovered. I still, mild, having to blow my nose here and there. And for probably a good week after like feeling like more or less good, I still had a cough and I still felt like in my chest. I felt kind of like I don't even know how to describe it, but it was just a weird sensation where, I could take full breaths, but you felt some weird pressure there. Luckily, though, that seems to be gone at this point. I believe I'm like 100% recovered. In fact, the last 2 days, I just went on my little indoor exercise bike. I went on it for 90 minutes yesterday, and then today I went on it for like 75 minutes. So I feel like I'm more or less back. I'm kind of back in my groove, and with being back in my groove and feeling healed, and also we had Thanksgiving, so, I was healed by Thanksgiving, was able to go to Thanksgiving, and that was great. Now we got a normal weekend. I feel back to my schedule more or less, and I wanna make some more videos here, especially going into the holiday break, because I know that I'm gonna be traveling, and I'm gonna try to make a video while I'm traveling. I got my laptop and everything, but I can't promise that I will. We'll have to see what kind of content and like what my schedule looks like, because I'm also traveling with my girlfriend. Got time to got to make sure I'm spending time with everybody in my family that I'm visiting. So COVID was a tough experience to go through, but there was one silver lining, and that silver lining was that God of War Ragnarok came out that motherfucking week, dude. And if I did not have God of War Ragnarok to get me through like how shitty I felt, man, like it allowed me to completely detach my mind from my physical sensations. Like I was coughing up a storm, blowing my nose every 5 minutes, but I at least was able to like get into the world and the story of God of War Ragnarok. And so I do want to take a brief moment of time. This used to be a gaming channel. I want to take a brief moment of time to talk about God of War Ragnarok. I'll let you know if there's going to be spoilers. I'm going to talk about it generally first, and then I'll warn you if I'm going to spoil something. But let me just talk about the game in general. The gameplay feels better to me. I enjoyed the combat better than the first one. I enjoyed the combat of the first one. I enjoyed the first game, and by first game, I mean God of War 2018 with the, the reinvented mechanics and stuff. I enjoyed God of War 2018, and I loved the story and the character interactions and the dialogue, and the gameplay. It was fun. And I played it right after playing Elden Ring, so it was a little hard for me to like get the dodging part down. I kept pressing fucking circle because I was used to rolling with circle. But then, you got to press the cross button. But overall, to me, Ragnarok felt like a better game. The ending of Ragnarok, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the ending feels a little rushed. Like the final couple levels feel like, oh shit, we're just ending it now? Like I felt like maybe we need a little more runway at the end of the game to properly play out how it plays out. But that being said, like still to me, one of the top games of the year. And I would have a hard time deciding between Elden Ring and Ragnarok. I know that that's like kind of that is the conversation, is like, which is the better game? Is it God of War Ragnarok, or is it Elden Ring? I put more hours into Elden Ring, but part of those hours are definitely buffed by just fucking failing at bosses, you know? So, like, I don't know if that's an accurate way to be like, okay, well, this game is a better game. I put more hours into it, and I had a good time with it. But they're totally different games, and they're totally different genres. So, to me, it's not easy to make a direct comparison because I enjoyed them both for what they were. And they have some similarities in terms of the combat at times can feel kind of Souls-like in God of War, but at the same time, like, it still has a totally different feel. You know, you're dealing with crowd control kind of stuff and combos, whereas in Elden Ring, it's like, you know, you got to be safe. You got to get your hits in when you can, you know, depending on your build. I had a dex build, dex and a strength build. So for me, it was like I'm meleeing a motherfucker. And so I know I can only get away with so many hits with the swords that I was using. Whereas in God of War, I felt like it was more about like just paying attention to when you're about to be attacked by somebody and like trying to combo as many things as possible, you know, using moves that are going to stun or stagger and try to play off of that to keep hitting them up using your special moves and stuff like that. So for me, game of the year, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know which one. It's for sure one of those two in terms of like games I've played. But that being said, like, I played a bunch of older games this year. I never had a PlayStation. I've mentioned this before, but I never had a PlayStation until I got the PS5. And so there's a lot of PS4 games that I was catching up on personally over the course of these last few years. So for me with the PS5, I know for some people who have like had PlayStations, the PS5 feels like, man, there's only been a handful of games that are new that I could play. But for me, like, I've been, you know, I played The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2, the Uncharted series when I first got the console. That was like one of the first things that I like marathon through. I played some of the Ratchet and Clank, some of both of them. I haven't finished either of them. I don't know if that tells you something about it, but I really enjoyed both of these games. And I really felt like they brought something interesting to the table. And Elden Ring is, I don't know, dude. It's like Elden Ring was an experience. Elden Ring was like some of the most fun gaming I've had since, honestly, like Breath of the Wild, in terms of just going around, exploring a world, discovering shit, and just being mind-fucked by everything. And like that's a feeling that isn't easily recreated, especially with so many open world games that are just not that good. And I played Forbidden West. So a lot of people, this is how I'm going on so many tangents, but I played Forbidden West and I loved that game. I also recognize that it is like every open world game ever, but I did enjoy the characters and I did enjoy the gameplay, and I did feel like the gameplay was an improvement in almost every way from the first game. And the first game has the advantage of like revealing the story in a really interesting way. I'm going to try to not spoil anything on that either, because I do recommend playing through those games because I think the world they created is amazing. But the first game had the benefit of like, you don't know what's going on and you got to like have it slowly revealed to you. And Silence is just such a great character. I mean, Lance Reddick, fucking killer performance. And honestly, everybody's a killer performance in the Horizon games. So I played a traditional, to go back to the original point about Elden Ring, I played a normal open world game and I still enjoyed it. And I honestly, I mean, it's the most beautiful game I fucking played this year was Forbidden West, in terms of just graphically. I mean, amazing, lush jungles and just fucking incredible. I felt like I was watching real life with some of these characters, and in fact, their conversation models were so much better than the first one. The first one, they were a little stiff, and in the second one, they felt like real people. God of War gives a similar feeling, whereas Elden Ring does not give that at all. But Elden Ring's open world was so much more fun than even Horizon's, and certainly than any other open world game I've played since Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is the only other one that really made me feel like, damn, I can just go anywhere and I just start exploring shit and just having fun with the mechanics of the game. That's what Elden Ring felt like to me. So, in one hand, like, that's a huge fucking advantage. And I put in I mean, I don't think I put in 100 hours, but I put in like fucking 70 or 80 hours into that game, okay? I've now been playing God of War Ragnarok, and I mean, after I beat the story, I've, you know, been more casual about it. In fact, I played it for the first time in like several days today, and got to like play some more stuff and do some stuff. And I'm at almost 50 hours. I haven't 100%ed it, but the number of tasks that are available to me to do are certainly dwindling. I love the father-son dynamic between Kratos and Atreus. I mean, like, I don't know, the story's just beautiful in that way, and it's so relatable, and I feel like everybody can relate to that with any parent figure. It could be your mom, it could be your dad, whatever, of just like, you know, sometimes the kid's got to make gotta make his own mistakes, and sometimes, you know, the adults want to protect you from the world, but the only way to really prepare you for it is to let you experience it, to let you live it. And I felt like I really resonated with that. It was cool. That was the only thing that got me through COVID, man. Playing fucking Ragnarok. So shout out to that. Don't know what I would have as my game of the year. Honestly, I don't think I could go wrong. I mean, if I just fucking put a dartboard and just put Elden Ring somewhere for like half of the board, and then put Ragnarok on the other half, it'd be one of those two. And then I would probably put my third favorite game that's been released this year as Forbidden West. But I understand the open world fatigue. I haven't played a ton of open worlds. Like I've not been playing like all the Assassin's Creeds and all the other kind of Ubisoft open world stuff. Like I just haven't been playing those games. So for me, I'm a little tired of that format, but I'm not as tired as some people who have literally played every release that have come out. So I can see where people would be kind of over it by the time that they were playing Forbidden West. But I feel like if you're not tired of that stuff, like that game is so worth it to play. And especially if you have a PS5, because oh my God, I'm telling you, aesthetically, that is the prettiest game I played. God of War maybe being the next prettiest, and then Elden Ring being the next prettiest after that. Because Elden Ring is pretty, but at times it can look a little muddy, some of the textures and stuff. But then some of the worlds they're so creatively crafted and everything. I don't know. You can't go wrong with any of those games, but that being said, like Elden Ring is not a game for everybody. You know? Like God of War, you can like just turn it to easy mode, and so you could make that a game for anybody. And same thing with Forbidden West. But Elden Ring, there's no difficulty setting. It is what it is. You fight a boss just like everybody else in the world. And I do admire that. And I know that that's another conversation that always happens, is like, should there be an easy mode? I actually don't think that there should be an easy mode in Elden Ring, because that's not the point of the game. However, I do believe there should be some accessibility features. And I think it's a little lame that you can't pause the game. I mean, like, I get that you want to have the stakes being felt all the time, but sometimes it's like, bro, like, you know, the pizza's at the door, or like my kid is crying and I need to go handle that, and then it's like you can't pause it, and if you're not in a perfectly safe area, you know, then you could just get killed while you're not there, and then you lose, you know, all your runes. So there are some things that it's like I agree with, that I think there should be some accessibility features, and I think you should be able to pause the game. But there are some things that are, to me, like people excuse in the Souls-like genre from Soft. But I feel like they shouldn't be excused, and that if any other developer did it, you would be like, what the fuck is wrong with this developer? Like, how come I can't pause the game? I'm okay with, like, that is the point of the game. The game is meant to be hard. It's meant for it to be rewarding. When you fight something over and over and over again, you learn its patterns, and you develop the patience, and you beat them. That's fine. But some really basic shit that every other game has, I think would be nice. And I think a quest log would be nice as well. I don't necessarily want the problem of too many things on the map and too many markers. Like, I'm okay with that not being as developed, but then, like, I don't always remember what some random NPC told me, that maybe because the world is so fun to go explore, I forgot about whatever they said, and I saw something awesome that I went over to, and I fought some super secret hidden boss, but then I totally forgot what that thing, you know, what that person said, and then I got no idea how to follow up on the quest. That seems like a, you know, Seems like bad game design. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. This ended up just being a video game fucking video. It's a video game video, bro. This is KDTV. I guess it was a video game channel at one point. The games this year have been really fun. I have not played the new Pokemon game. It looks like a glitchy nightmare. I'm like kind of interested in playing it, but I don't know that I'm going to run out and buy it right now. I think I'll wait until they patched it a little bit and have it run a little better. I mean, the frame rate just seems, I don't know, so abysmal. And I've been playing so much on, you know, the PS5 and the Series X that I'm so spoiled with like incredible frame rates. I always do the frame rate mode. I rarely do resolution mode, simply because the frame rate mode is usually a good enough resolution that I still think the game looks pretty, and then it's way fucking smoother. I like 60 frames. So to me, playing a Pokemon game that runs at 20 FPS and not even consistently, like a choppy 20 FPS, Game Freak, you need to get your shit together. But anyway, didn't mean for this to turn into a video game video, but that is what I talked about. So fuck it. Thank you all for listening to me ramble about video games and talk about my COVID recovery. But I appreciate you all, and like, subscribe, all that other stuff. And I'll see you in the next one.